Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. It is time to do one of my most favorite videos that I enjoy making, and that is taking you on a little tour of everything that I have preserved and harvested from my garden for the 2023 growing season. A little bit about my growing season. It was a tough year here in West Michigan. We had extreme drought at the very beginning of the season, like late spring, early summer. So I also think I got a bad bag of potting soil because I started all of my seeds indoors just like I always do, like in April, and they all died. I did everything the same that I've always done. They all died. So then I had to go to the nursery and buy plants, which I did, and I planted them, and it was so dry, even with me watering every day, that they all died. So I went back to the greenhouse, got whatever they had left, and at that point I was basically focusing on peppers and tomatoes, and that's basically what I grew. My cucumber plant is the only thing that survived because I planted a new seed right in the ground, like from me starting my own seeds. So it was a challenging year. Green beans didn't do fantastic for me this year. We took our trip to Israel like right at the height of green bean season. And you know, if you're not like keeping up and picking with them and such, and I had my friend come over and pick some and eat them while we were gone, but definitely did not get enough to put away. We were just basically eating everything that was fresh as it was coming in. So that's a little bit about my growing season. Now let's get into what we have going on here. I'm going to take you through, let me step out of the way. I'm going to take you through and tell you what everything is. And we're gonna start down here on this end of the table. This is my freeze-dried end. This is zucchini. My zucchini plants also did terribly this year. So I got squash bugs for the first time since living here. At my old house, we used to get squash bugs all the time. And this year I got squash bugs. So this is actually probably from the zucchini that my neighbor gave me, is most likely what this is. This is just one of my favorite things to freeze dry because you can toss it in soups. If you want to bake with it, you just rehydrate it and let it sit for a couple of minutes and then drain it, and you use it just like fresh zucchini. I also freeze dried some peach slices. They're not as, we don't like them dried as well as I thought that we would. It really brings out the tangy, like the sour in the peach. But this is one of the only things that I buy, like from the farmer's market, is fruit. And so I did end up buying some peaches, and I also put some peach pie filling all made up into my freezer, and so all I have to do is just thaw it and dump it in a pie crust, and I have peach pie filling all ready to go. I am still working through all of the apples. I do have apple trees planted, but they're not producing yet, so I do buy these at my local farmer's market as well, and the girls and I really enjoy freeze-dried apple slices. So I only have a couple. I honestly can't get a lot of these stored up because my kids eat them too fast for me to be, be able to store them up. Okay, then probably my favorite thing to freeze dry is corn. I have no interest in growing corn. It takes a lot of land. It takes a lot of water. It takes a lot of fertilizer, and then the raccoons and the bugs get it before you can get to it, because I don't have a fenced in area at all. And so I buy my corn as well. Peaches, apples, corn. That's about the only thing that I buy. Peaches, apples, and corn. And then blueberries. We did also go pick blueberries, and I have blueberries all in the freezer. I do not like to freeze dry blueberries. We don't like them that way. So I have all of this freeze dried corn, and when you rehydrate this and cook it, it tastes like you just cut it off the cob. It is like the best. We cannot go back to canned corn or frozen corn. Like, this is where it's at. So I have also, I should have mentioned this at the beginning, I have also given away a lot of this as well. I like to give things to my relatives. Like I already gave my grandma some pickles and some jam because she's the one that taught me how to can in the first place. And then my parents, it's actually their freeze dryer that I have at my house. And so they let me use it and I just freeze dry food and give it to them. And it works out well for us. So I've already given my parents a lot of corn. I've given them a lot of applesauce, so I am missing some things here that would be out here, but they're already have either been eaten or given away. This is all, I'm still working on applesauce. I have a bunch of apples in my downstairs fridge to get through. This is a honey vanilla applesauce that I did. I actually like to just get really good sweet apples and then just do it unsweetened. But I tried a new variety, Cameo, I think, and I don't like it as applesauce. And so I sweetened it and added a little vanilla because it's more of a texture thing than a flavor thing. So I went and got some different apples and I'm still working through those. So I will have a bunch more applesauce out here as well. But you know how labor intensive applesauce is, so I like to take my time with it. Okay, finishing up the freeze-dried stuff, I made some herb salt, and this I actually dehydrated, so we'll see how I like it. I don't know, it's a gross color, but I forgot all what I put in here as far as the herbs go. I forgot, but we'll test that out and see how we like it. I have a bunch, I think this is basil. Yep, that's basil. That's probably my second favorite thing to freeze dry is herbs because it's so much better than dehydrating. It actually smells and tastes like fresh herbs when you add it to recipes. And dried herbs are fine, they just taste different. We have some parsley, rosemary, which I already have a bunch of this left from last year, so I didn't do too much of that. We have a ton of dill. I was also successful at dill this year, which sometimes I am not successful at dill. These both look like oregano. More parsley and more dill. Like, I don't even need to plant any dill next year. I have a ton of dill. All right, let me bring you down a little bit closer and show you some of these little jars. Something new that I have tried this year is homemade cream of mushroom soup. This is definitely a Rebel canning recipe, but I absolutely love it. It is so much better than the store-bought. And I just wait for mushrooms to go on sale at Aldi when they're 99 cents a container. I buy a whole flat of them. And this is what I've done, a bunch of mushrooms. These are actually belong down there with the other mushrooms, but I also love to can mushrooms. They're delicious, way better than you can get at the store. Something that might be kind of a flop, it's really, really runny. This is hot sauce. And I had a bunch of peppers left over. And the recipe that I tried used diced tomatoes and then you like press it through a sieve. But it didn't I think I would have preferred to blend it and make like an actual like tomatoey hot sauce. So I will use it, but I will definitely not be using that recipe again. This is all that's left of my garlic. I've already planted my garlic, but I haven't bought garlic in 3 years. So once this is gone, then I generally just use garlic powder until my garlic is ready for the next year. But I pick out the biggest cloves to plant, so that's what I did. And then all the rest I save to cook with, so that's all I have left of that. Like I said, green bean year was not good. I have 3 measly quarts of green beans, and I put away 3 bags of frozen. And then then we ate our weight in green beans over the summer. So that's all I got out of that. 2 quarts of dill pickles, because I still have dill pickles from 2021, I think. So I only did 2 like fresh ones. They do get a little soft the older that they get. This is all pickled coleslaw. Julia and I really love it. I grew all the cabbage. I did not grow any carrots, but I grew all of the cabbage that was needed for this. Plus I still have some heads of cabbage in my downstairs fridge. And I made sauerkraut, but that's up in my refrigerator upstairs. Just some little pint jars of it. And then just a little tip for you, if you have extra brine of any sort, you can just go ahead and can that up along with whatever you're canning, and then you'll have it all made up for next time. So I have 3 jars of coleslaw brine that I can use if I run out. If we eat through this and I need to make some more, it's all ready for me. Strawberry rhubarb jam. This is a new one. I didn't use any pectin in this one. This was just cooking it down until it got to a jam consistency. I grew all the rhubarb, and then some of these are my strawberries, and then some were strawberries that I had in the freezer from last year that I wanted to get out of the freezer. So I really like this one. I really like rhubarb. I also have some bags of rhubarb just frozen in my freezer so that I can make some rhubarb cream pies, which that's my brother's, Jordan and Jaren, it's their favorite pies, so I'm gonna make them a pie. Peach jelly. It didn't set up as well this year. I followed a different recipe, so I'll have to go back to my other recipe, but that's totally fine. You know, it's enough that it'll melt onto my biscuits. I love peach jelly with homemade buttermilk biscuits. And this is just from the pits and the skins of the peaches that I do. So got 4 of those. Over here, this is one that I am the most proud of. This is all like, well, we can call it wild berry jam if you want to. I went out to our woods and picked all of the black raspberries, probably about 2 weeks it took me to just go out every day and pick anything that was ripe. And you know, they're teeny tiny berries. I put them in the freezer. And then my neighbor across the street, he had a bunch of raspberries in his garden that he was not getting to. And so the girls and I went and picked those. I mixed the 2 together, and it is a really, really delicious jam. So all I did was pay for sugar. All the berries were free to make this wild berry jam. Okay, working on this half of the table now. This is a new one that I tried. This is peach salsa. I don't know if I like it as like chips and salsa, but it is delicious. I made like pork carnitas with it, like just dumped it on top while the pork was cooking. That was delicious. So I can see this being really good with like a pork roast, even like a beef roast. This would be delicious. I did also give some of that away already as well, but the flavor is really, really good. This year, since I had so many dill pickles from previous years, I decided to go ahead and make my grandma's bread and butter pickle recipe. I really love it. She slices her pickles. She's 90, she's 96? I think she's 96. So she doesn't can anymore, but I learned all of my canning from my grandma. And so it's her recipe. I did slightly less sugar because hers has a lot of sugar in it, but she slices her cucumbers super thin, and I love it that way rather than like a chunky pickle. But I don't like sweet pickles, but a bread and butter pickle, like on a charcuterie board, I am all about. So I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I only have 7 pints left because I have already given some to my dad because that's, you know, his mom. It's her recipe and he loves them. And then I did go visit my grandma and give her some too. I have a ton of banana peppers. I use these in like the Mississippi pot roast, and so this is something I won't have to buy for quite a long time. And it's kind of cloudy because I used garlic powder because I didn't have any garlic. Like I was saying, I didn't have any garlic ready yet when these were ready. So I have 8 half pints, and I still have some like store-bought, so like I'm not even gonna grow banana peppers next year because I won't even need to. That's about the only thing that we really use it on. Then I just have some good plain old strawberry jam. Some of these again are from my strawberry patch, and some of them are the frozen berries where we go to a farm and pick them as well. Because mine are everbearing, they're not the June bearing variety of strawberries, and so you never get like a whole bunch at once to make jam. But I prefer it that way because then we eat on them, you know? They're not ready. And plus, like the June bearing, like this, they're ready for you whether or not you're ready. So just a couple 5 pints of strawberry jam. And then this is also one thing that I'm super excited about. So I love grape juice, Concord grape juice. It is my absolute favorite. I've planted some grapes. The deer will not stay out of them, so I have not planted any more because they just keep eating the vines like down to a nub. It's very annoying. So I'm gonna have to fence it in if I want to grow grapes. But my neighbor has Concord grapes, and he likes to just eat them when they're ripe, and then he doesn't do anything else with them. And so I said, if you will let me have your grapes, I will can you up some grape juice or some grape jelly. And he said, I like both, so do whatever you want. So this one, and I don't add any sugar, this is already just diluted grape juice. You can see how like, it's just like perfect. It's my favorite. And then this one's darker. You can see this is actually a concentrate. So I would dump one of these plus fill this up with water and dump it in a pitcher and drink it just like that. So I prefer it to be unsweet, and then we can always like sweeten it up with some stevia or something when we want to drink it. But if you've ever tried to buy Concord grapes, they're very expensive, and so I was so pleased that he gave me all his grapes, which I mean I had to go over and pick them. So picking the grapes, plucking the grapes, washing them, getting all the stems off, and then like cooking them and then draining them. It's a whole process. So like that's like a special treat item that we only have once in a while. We don't work it down because that one's a lot of work. Then I already showed you this over there, but these are my mushrooms. So very happy I've been out of mushrooms for quite a while. These are also slightly labor intensive, but I really need to keep up with it when Aldi has a 99-cent sale. I just need to buy them and do them because these will be gone pretty quickly. I had another, my peppers did really well. That was something that did really well this year. Has my head been cut off the entire time? Probably. Okay. These are pickled jalapenos. I did a couple of pickled jalapenos, and then because I already have some left, I only did a couple of jars of the cowboy candy because for a charcuterie board, I really like to put like a softened block of cream cheese and then dump this over the top of it. And then you just take a little cream cheese with the candied jalapeno or cowboy candy and put it on crackers. It is absolutely delicious. So I only did 2 of those. And then we are to what my main focus for the year was, which was growing enough tomatoes to do an entire year's worth of salsa for my family. So, excuse me. We really like the Mrs. Wages salsa mix. It saves me time from chopping all the onions, chopping all the peppers, I'm never quite happy like with a canned salsa recipe because we kind of like a restaurant style salsa, if you know what that is. And Mrs. Way just comes out perfect every time. It is a more expensive way to do it. It's still not expensive, you know, compared to buying salsa from the store. But if you grow all your own tomatoes, and then I do look for sales on the Mrs. Wage's salsa mix, but the ingredients are really good. It's just salt and spices and dehydrated vegetables. There's nothing weird in it, and it's just such an easy way to do it. So I did some hot salsa this year, and it's like the perfect consistency. That's how we like our salsa. Not chunky, not super watery. It's just like a good restaurant style salsa. But this one's hot, this one is medium, and we just really love it. I didn't even count, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 3 is 27, plus 6 is 33 pints of salsa. And so I just opened up my jar from last year, my last jar from last year, and I just got done canning salsa not too long ago. And I've kind of I did at least double what I did last year because I supplemented with store-bought salsa because I knew that we were gonna run out. So I think this will get us the whole year for salsa, and that makes me very happy. That is one successful thing from this very challenging growing year. So that is everything that I have preserved. There's some things missing, like I said, because I've already given them away or we've already eaten them. I do have some stuff in the freezers, like I mentioned, like peach pie filling. I probably will put some apple pie fillings in there. Still working on all my applesauce, working my way through that. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything else that I'm missing. So now I need to go put this all away, and I'll give you a quick peek into my room if you're new here. I don't know where I'm gonna put it all because it needs to be put away and I don't have a lot of room left. So I'll give you a quick peek into my storage room where I keep everything. This is my storage room down in my basement. I got my extra fridge right here that I love. My chest freezer over there where we've got lots of meat. And this is my food storage room. So I've got last year's applesauce right here. So I've got room for this year's applesauce. This is where I plan on making room for all of my salsa. If you will notice, I did not do any tomato sauce or like marinara sauce because I still have so much left from last year. So I really just focused on salsa. And this is what I'm talking about. I've got dill pickles for days, so that's why I only did a little bit. That's last year's coleslaw, a little bit of canned potatoes, and like 2 years ago, applesauce right here. So, and then this is cranberry juice, which I do cranberry juice when I can get them at the store around Thanksgiving time. I just feel like it's a great thing to have on your shelf, health-wise. So I have to figure out where I'm going to put all of this and get it put away because it's all currently on the kids' school table right now. Hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I appreciate you guys. I never do this, but all the YouTube experts tell me that I need to, but if you like what you see, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to hang around, and I do a bunch of stuff. I kind of don't like to, you know, nail myself down because I have a lot of different passions and a lot of different things that interest me, so that's what you see on my channel. All the stuff that interests me and that I feel like people will enjoy seeing those parts of my life. So subscribe if you like what you see, and I appreciate you guys, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!